Hey film fans, so I just finished watching Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2. I'm not going to say for the millionth time because I didn't watch the later films as much as I watched the previous ones. I am a Harry Potter fan. There is no doubt about that. Hagrid is chilling on my wall back here. So this film got a 96% on the Rotten Tomato meter, and I think that's a beautiful number for this film, considering, it's the last one of the franchise and all the things that go on in this film. It's definitely a nice number for this, and I wouldn't really want to see it any higher. I could see it a little bit lower, but not like substantially lower. 96% is definitely a very even number, so I'm going to agree with that, and I don't do that very often with the Rotten Tomatoes review. So, a clash between good and evil awaits as young Harry, Ron, and Hermione prepare for the final battle against Lord Voldemort. Harry has grown into a steely lad on a mission to rid the world of evil. The friends must search for the Horcruxes and keep the dastardly wizard immortal. Harry and Voldemort meet at Hogwarts Castle for the final epic showdown, where the forces of darkness finally meet their match. This movie is beautifully done. I loved it. During its time in the box office, it made an astounding $381 million. And of course, years later, that number has probably increased tremendously, so they've definitely made back their production budget and more. It was released on July 15th of 2011. It was done by director David Yates, who actually finished the vast majority of the Harry Potter movies after we did some director jumping around during the first, I believe, 3, maybe 4 films before David Yates takes over and goes his direction with the franchise. It had a $250 million production budget, and they obviously made that back in the box office and have probably tripled to quadrupled to, plus numbered that production budget now in the last 19 years, we'll say, or 11 years. That was, excuse my math. The CGI in this film is gorgeous. It is so well done. The statues coming to life, the trolls, everything that goes on the bridge during the Battle of Hogwarts. There's so much to this film that it's really hard to describe just how well done it is. And with a production budget like that, I would want nothing less than almost perfection for this film, and David Yates and his production team definitely deliver on that. From the beginning, the Warner Brothers logo, it's dark, it's rusted, this is the last film, this is gonna be good, this is where everything happens, this is where the Battle of Hogwarts goes on, this is where this happens, this is where this goes on. So it's definitely a really, really dark movie, right from, that Warner Brothers logo and the sound, that Harry Potter sound playing, this is going to be dark. This is going to be hard to watch. There's going to be a lot of death. There's going to be a lot of losses. There's going to be a lot of things that go on in this particular film. So we finally get to see Aberforth in this film. And anybody that knows the lore or has actually paid attention throughout, the film franchise knows that Dumbledore lived in Godric's Hollow. He was part of a family, so he had siblings. And his father was in jail for killing muggles. Unfortunately, his father took the rap for his sister, who had ended up actually suppressing her magic, and anybody that's seen the Fantastic Beasts franchise knows where this is going. When a child suppresses their magical capabilities, they turn into an Obscurus. And that's one of the biggest revelations about the Dumbledore family, is that Liliana was an Obscurus. And you definitely hear about this later on, especially in The Secrets of Dumbledore. So you finally learn that family. You finally learn what happened. They talk about her being very sick and everything else that goes on. And that sickness was that dark part of herself taking control and, wreaking havoc on the Muggle world. And their father is now paying, or was paying, the ultimate price for that. At this time, there's so much that goes on. So we lose, Alan Rickman as Professor Snape. Did that role so well, and I bawled the first time I watched this movie. I cried so hard whenever he finally died, because he gives Harry the memories of who he really was and how much he actually cared for Harry and how much he cared for his mother, and you're like, I didn't see any of this coming. That will blindside you. Like, there's nothing you can do to prepare for the feelings and emotions that you're about to go through whenever you see his memories and you finally get to see, like, he was an amazing guy and he deserved a better death than the one that he got. Killed by Voldemort and then finally killed by Nagini. He deserved so much better. When the Order comes walking into the castle, of course, you know, you look at the Order and you're like, those are all redheads. The Order's 90% Weasley right now. And I thought that was a great joke, because you're sitting there and you're like, you know, that's just basically the Weasley family fighting people. That's all it is, because it's 90% Weasley at the time. There are definitely some funny moments in this particular film, especially amid the darkness and just that heaviness of the film. So I think, you know, the jokes and the little lights amid the darkness type deal is definitely brings out more character of the film, because it's not just this heavy darkness during the whole time. There are moments where you want to laugh. There's moments where you want to cry. There's moments where you want to smile. And that's what a good film does to you. It makes you go through all these different emotions and actually feel alongside the characters. Ron and Hermione finally get together and they're kissing in the Chamber of Secrets during this battle that's going on. Of course, it's at the most inopportune, most inappropriate moment, and they finally hook up and get together, and then you're like, yes, we've seen this coming for how long now, since Ron's jealousy, like, way back in the Goblet of Fire. You know, we knew this was going to happen. And it's definitely really nice to see two of the characters get together, especially because during an interview with J.K. Rowling, it was talked about that Ron was actually supposed to die in one of the books, and in, you know, one of the movies, which would have played off of the book, we would have lost him. And because people were so in love with him and the type of character development that he was going through, she actually ended up keeping him, and I think that was a big plus, because I think we would have been lacking a little bit in the story, because Harry wouldn't have a best friend, you know, all these other things wouldn't have happened, and Ron wouldn't have been there to save the day. And I think just, I'm so glad they did not decide to kill off this character. The Battle of Hogwarts is stunning, and one of my particular favorite scenes is Hogwarts is in danger, do your duties! With McGonagall. That scene, absolutely, like, I love it. Again, we see lots of really great acting that goes on in this film, and one of my other particular scenes is whenever, you know, Bellatrix comes singing in, and Molly's like, not my daughter, you... And then, you know, that's the end of Bellatrix Lestrange. So I think that was really well deserved, and that this whole film just really played out very well. It takes you through the emotions, it takes you through the story, it takes you with right alongside it. It's definitely very real life. It's very adult. It's very heavy, and it's not very childish or, you know, kid friendly like the first couple of films where, you know, it gradually gets darker. And it was just absolutely so stunningly well done that I'm going to give this movie a 5 out of 5 on the Rotten Tomato meter, and that's going to finish off the specific Harry Potter franchise. Please keep your eyes peeled, because the Fantastic Beasts franchise will follow. So until next time, film fans, keep watching those movies, and we'll see you all in the next review.